I can't yet quite believe this is actually real, but it is real, and it's going to be even more real once I say it in this video. Hey folks, it's Finn. In today's vlog, I want to share some very, very, very exciting news with you all. So I've teased you all enough over the last week. I'm really sorry, but I needed to get Christmas over and a few study deadlines over with first before I could make this amazing announcement. As many of my long-term followers know, you hardcore Finn fammers, I have been in the process of writing my memoirs for quite some time now, with a view at some point to get them published. Well, I am soon to be a published author because Jessica Kingsley Publishers have made me an offer and commissioned my first book. Oh my actual God. I really can't believe this is happening. Well, I mean, I knew it would be happening. I had that goal in mind, but I hadn't expected it to unfold the way it did. Let me explain. So I've been writing both my lower surgery memoir and my trans memoir with a view to self-publish my lower surgery memoir. It's near completion, and so I'd planned that this year would be the year that I would get it self-published. And I was planning videos for this coming year ahead, talking about my plans to become self-published as an author. But being accepted to be a TED speaker did kind of put a spanner in a few works that was in process for me, so I had to kind of put everything on a back burner for a while. But also, leading up to Christmas, I was beginning to have a few little doubts about whether self-publishing actually was the way forward. And this shows why paying attention to the present moment and listening to your instincts is so important. It's great to have goals, but it's really important to pay attention to the daily gaining of those goals, because if you're too goal focused, you can miss the little hints and tips that the universe sends you along the way of perhaps a better way of doing things. And it seems the universe was doing that for me, because right when I was pausing on my self-publishing trajectory and rethinking things, I received an email from the editor of Jessica Kingsley Publishers asking if I had anything in process and expressing an interest in my writing. And that made my day. I emailed in return saying that it was really quite synchronistic timing, because I was actually thinking about a few things, and I listed the books I had in progress and returned the email, and then was invited to submit a proposal for my lower surgery memoir. So I popped in the proposal, and to my absolute shock, disbelief and absolute joy, I received an email offering me a contract for my lower surgery memoir. The reason it was such a big surprise is because I didn't really think that a traditional publisher would take on my memoir. It's very explicit, it's very frank, which is something I do in all my content. I tell the truth quite transparently. I talk about the surgery, the recovery, and I also talk about my own sexual exploration and discovering myself as a gay man, and talk very explicitly about sex and sexuality in the book. So I did have some concerns, mainly that it would be too much for a traditional publisher to take on, and I was also quite concerned about how it would be represented by a traditional publisher, and so I'd not at all considered, with this memoir at least, to go any other route than self-publishing, because that way I could have control over the book. The big fear, isn't it, about anything trans-related is that it might be sensationalised, and in such an important book where I wanted to convey the process of surgery and to help other trans people, I didn't want to risk a publisher running with it and sensationalising it. However, the email made me reconsider this idea about self-publishing versus traditional publishing, and looking at Jessica Kingsley Publishers, they've got a really impressive back catalogue of trans literature that's very, very sensitively represented and marketed, and I feel really confident in their ability to look after this book and treat it well, and to make sure it reaches people who need to read it, and for it to be done in a very representative and non-sensationalised way. So I was well chuffed to say yes. I do feel really confident that the book's going to do really well with Jessica Kingsley Publishers. I'm absolutely thrilled that they're publishing it, and I'm really, really grateful to Andrew for reaching out in the first place and asking, because he was obviously sent by the universe at a time where I needed him. So this year's going to be a bit busy. It is almost written, it just needs some reorganising in places and some tidying up, but it's not far off being done. It's just really that I've got all this other stuff going on as well. I'm finishing my Open University degree, which also has ended up perfect timing because I swapped to a creative writing module, and I shall be completing that at the same time as sending in my manuscript. So it's so funny, isn't it, how life suddenly goes a different way and it ends up being the exact way that you needed it to go. It's amazing. This really shows the power of determination and sticking to a goal. I have talked about writing for such a long time. I mean, I was talking about being a published author when I was a youngster. My first dreams as a youngster were to one day be a published author. And then I got very unwell and I spent lots of years in alcoholic blackout and ruining my life, and all of those dreams died. And when I got clean and sober, those dreams came to light again. And then over the last few years, people, places, things have come into my path and led me in this direction where I've changed and declared myself just over a year ago to be a writer. Thank you, Jeff Goins. And from that clear determination, this has now come to fruition. Oh my actual God, in 2020, I'm going to be a published author. I'm absolutely over the moon to have finished 2019 with this amazing news after a pretty rough start to 2019. And so to be starting 2020, new decade, with this next amazing, exciting adventure ahead of us. And goodness knows what's going to come from this. So I'm so excited to share this news with you and to start this year off with such an incredible bang. I love you guys. So, when can you expect to be reading it? As soon as possible, hopefully. I have a deadline to get the manuscript in by the end of May, and hopefully it'll be very soon after that it's put out to publication, but I don't know any more just yet, and I will of course be keeping you up to date throughout the process. Most of you love my monthly behind the scenes vlogs, and in there I shall be sharing my progress of writing with you, and I'll also be sharing it in my monthly newsletter as well. So if you want to know how I'm getting on, if you're interested in the process of what it takes to write a book, and you want to be first in the know to news of the book and when it comes out, please do subscribe to my channel and make sure to tick the bell so you'll get notifications, and I'll put a link in the description to my free newsletter, and if you subscribe to that you'll be first to know as well. Thanks for watching, folks. I look forward to updating you soon. Take care of yourselves. See you next week.